Kids are now protesting ICE on Roblox. Yes, you heard that correctly. Roblox is a famous game where people play on their phones, on their computers, where they are literally in new dimensions, in other worlds. And right now, according to Taylor Lorenz and according to the Latin Times, kids are literally cosplaying protesters, protesting ICE and Donald Trump within this game. And these kids, they're Generation Alpha. They're not even Gen Z. They're young kids. My little brother, who's 11 years old, plays Roblox. These are kids who are 10, 11, 12, sometimes even younger, sometimes a little older, but they are now protesting ICE. And it just shows how an issue like immigration enforcement really trickles down into all communities and people from all walks of life. They're using signs like ICE out of California, FU ICE, frick ICE, because they can't use the curse words. And their videos of these in-game protests are now going viral all over TikTok, where users they're role playing protesters. Others are protesting or role playing ICE agents, but it's just still fascinating to watch how public discourse within American politics has now reached Roblox. Now, before I continue, please consider supporting my work by subscribing to my Substack, clicking the button below, or sending a one-time donation to my Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Your support allows me to continue doing this 24/7 full-time. We have some big news out of Minnesota. According to prosecutors, the suspects responsible for killing a Democratic lawmaker and her husband and shooting a Democratic lawmaker and his wife actually visited 4 different homes in an attempt to kill multiple lawmakers, but some of the intended victims were not home. The acting U.S. attorney for the District of Minnesota said that Vance Bolter had a list of over 45 Minnesota state and federal elected officials in his car, suggesting a broader threat to public officials. Today, Donald Trump is at the G7 in Canada. It was once the G8, but they kicked Russia and Vladimir Putin out after Russia invaded Crimea back in 2014 in Ukraine. Well, Trump is now advocating for Russia to be admitted back in to the G7, saying that only Putin talks to him, no one else at the G7. Wonder why? But during a windy press event, Donald Trump mistakenly referred to signing a trade agreement with the European Union after dropping documents and confusing the United Kingdom Prime Minister with EU leadership. It appeared as though he was unsure of who he was signing a deal with. He was appearing with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, to announce a trade deal with the United Kingdom, but said that he had a trade deal with the European Union instead. Now, if you know anything about EU politics, the United Kingdom, through Brexit, actually left the European Union several years ago. If Joe Biden did this, they'd be calling for his impeachment. Just saying. A U.S. federal judge has extended until June 23rd a temporary order blocking Donald Trump from barring foreign nationals from studying at Harvard. U.S. District Judge William Young, a Reagan appointee, ruled that the Trump administration's cuts to NIH grants linked to executive orders targeting gender ideology and DEI are illegal and void, went so far as saying that the Trump administration engaged in racial discrimination and discrimination against LGBTQ Americans, saying it's appalling and an unprecedented form of racial discrimination that he's seen for the first time in his 40-plus years on the bench. In Israel news, Israel is coordinating with the United States of America on attacks in Iran. Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with ABC News, where he refused to rule out targeting Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, saying that Israel is, quote, well coordinated with the United States in its campaign against Iran. Today, minor damage was reported at the U.S. Embassy following Iranian missile strikes in the surrounding areas. And right now, as we speak, the United States of America is moving the USS Nimitz carrier strike group from the South China Sea to the Middle East ahead of schedule. Minor damage, as I said, was reported at the U.S. Embassy. And in addition, in non-Israel news, U.S. Senator Mike Lee is being condemned across the political spectrum for posting inflammatory memes blaming Marxists and mocking Governor Tim Walz regarding the Minnesota shooting. Donald Trump has refused to call Governor Walz, saying Governor Walz is, quote, grossly incompetent. The United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case involving a New Jersey crisis pregnancy center's efforts to block a state investigation into allegedly deceptive practices. The Trump Organization has launched Trump Mobile, a new mobile phone plan featuring a $499 gold smartphone and a $47.45 monthly plan. The venture, which is being run by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, is raising significant conflict of interest questions once again. That's all the news right now. Hopefully, it's a slower news night. I mean, it was a slow news day, so that's been great. Subscribe to my Substack by clicking the button below to support or send a one time donation to Aaron Parnas. And I'll see you this evening, or hopefully not, probably in the morning.